It is 30 minutes gone past 8 on INFOGIANT 97.1 FM. A very good morning to you, Nigeria. A very good morning to your state. Good morning to the INFOGIANT families. It's another beautiful Wednesday, the fourth day, and the beautiful month of June 2025. And we are back on the airways for your trusted program, the Dailies Review, your trusted ride through the pages of the national headlines. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And you already know if it's in the papers, well, we are going to find it. We are going to unwrap it. We are going to give it that infogent touch. The bold one, the engaging one, the wide open one for your voice to come through. Our intelligence listeners are going to get to weigh in on the headlines that matters most. You're going to pick one, you're going to pick two, and we are going to have a conversation. And of course, if you're on the move, there is no need to stress yourself. We got you covered. Just head over to our website www.infogentfm971.com or tune in via Radio Garden. And all you have to do is search for Infogent 97.1 FM. And of course, if you want to see how fine our audio studios are or audio studio is looking this morning, and if you want to see how I'm looking this morning also, all you need to do is head onto our Facebook page and search for INFOGIANT 97.1 FM and drop your comments on all of the interesting headlines that we have this morning. But of course, let's not waste our time this morning. Let's not waste a heartbeat. It's time for us to talk and have discussions on issues that affect us as a people. And as always, my name is Olayinka Popoola. I am your regular pilot. We are going to be going through the paper trail together. It feels good to be back. I'm excited and pleased and pleasured to be speaking to you again. Yesterday, I had a thought. This morning, I have a thought. And yesterday, my thought got so many reactions. This morning, hopefully, my thought this morning should get the same reaction as yesterday. But of course, we're going to be doing it differently this morning because we are going to be starting with what we have on the front page of our national dailies this morning. So if you're looking to have an idea, now is the time for you to sit back, relax, and let us skim through the front pages of the headlines together. We're going to be kicking off with the Punch this morning, and on the Punch newspaper, we have headlines that says that flood alert, NEMA deploys teams in 15 high-risk states. NEMA deploys teams in 15 high-risk states as agencies warns of fresh heavy flooding. Federal government insists on evacuation. Niger State recovers more corpses. That's a very sad one. And there's something different about this occurrence. It is called flash floods for a reason. It doesn't give you time to do anything. It's like a flash flood. It is a flash flood. And it comes like a thief in the night. You're never prepared for flash floods. And that's the reason why, the numbers keep increasing. Sadly, we had the news. We had a story yesterday about a husband that could only help himself, watching his wife and his newborn baby get washed away in the flood. It is a very serious one, and I feel like the National Orientation Agency, the National Emergency Management Agency, they have a lot of work to do. Just like in the coronavirus days, where we have updates in the morning about the numbers, updates in the evening about the numbers. If you go online now, most of the updates you're going to be getting is going to be from the International News Organization, and it is not supposed to be like that. We're supposed to have this covered. People want to stay updated. Whether it makes a difference or it doesn't make a difference, people want to know what is going on. What is the federal government doing? What is the relief materials? What are they trying to do in evacuating these people that are affected? by this flood. Okay, let's move away from that. Is all we have on the punch this morning. Surprisingly, that is all we have on the punch this morning. But of course, let's see what is going on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. And on the Nigerian Tribune this morning, we have this headline. It says, Benue killings. Army chiefs moves in, deploys more troops and logistics. The Nigerian police relocate area commander and tactical teams to troubled local government areas. It says gunmen kill 16, burn several houses in plateau communities. Terrorists kill 30 villagers in Kwara State. Okay, still on the front page of the Tribune, it says man falls from cocoa house, topmost floor. NCC says USSD banking charges to be deducted from airtime. So it means that if you do not have airtime, you cannot use the USSD code because that is where the charges are going to be coming from now. Now, this one says that Mokwa flood, federal government blames climate change, unregulated buildings, damage devastating, says Niger State government. Damage is devastating, says Niger State government. This one says the presidency says that economic reforms painful but necessary. Challenges opposition to offer viable alternatives. Affirms on the Tinubu the cup is half full on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. This one says that passengers lament trek long distances as gridlock on Ibadan to Lagos highway persists for hours. Passengers lament trek long distances as gridlock on Ibadan to Lagos highway persists for hours. On the Nigerian Tribune is where we are going to be getting details of that story. But of course, there is this story about the economic reforms, painful but necessary. There's something from Lamido Sanusi, the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. There is something. I have a speech from Lamido Sanusi, and this is basically where we're going to be, looking at this morning majorly. The happenings in Niger State and what the feeling of what should have been done differently or what should be done differently currently now that the disaster is just out out of the ceiling. Of course, let's move away from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Let's go to the Guardian this morning. On the Guardian this morning, it says Paul rates Tinubu's government high as opposition critics disagree. Paul rates Tinubu government high as opposition critics disagree. Okay, this one says crisis looms in the APC as party rejects automatic ticket bid for aspirants. Crisis looms in APC as party rejects automatic tickets bid for aspirants. On the front page of the Guardian, it says Mokwa flood, federal government blames blocked tributary and climate change. Telcos kick at banks planned USSD fee deduction from end users. Now this is just the banks no longer feel like there is a need to start charging the USSD fee from customers' account, but rather from the customer's airtime account. Okay, that is basically what we have on the Guardian newspaper this morning. Let's take a look at what is going on the Vanguard newspaper. And on the Vanguard newspaper this morning, this one says Niger State flood 1,249 communities in 30 states. FCT at risk, says federal government. Niger flood 1,249 communities in 30 states. FCT at risk, according to the federal government. Of course, it says no water was released from Kanji and Jebba dams. Notes flood caused by heavy rainfall, heightened by global warming. Okay, that is coming from the federal government. Okay, this one also says on the front page of the Vanguard It says that USSD charges telcos threatens to withdraw services over banks' misinformation. Hmm. Telcos threaten to withdraw services over banks' misinformation. On the Vanguard newspaper, this one says that insecurity, Tinubu, Matawale should be commended for reinvigorating Navy, according to Saka, on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Let's see what is going on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. On the Daily Trust, it says no automatic tickets for National Assembly members, says APC. No automatic tickets for National Assembly members, uh, according to the APC. This one says that Arafat, Saudi Arabia wants pilgrims of Eid wave. Saudi Arabia wants pilgrims of Eid wave. Okay, this one says that parents seeks alternatives over prolonged FCT teachers strike. On the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, an update from what is going on in Niger State on the front page of Daily Trust. It says bodies of 7 children recovered as search continues. Bodies of 7 children recovered as search continues. Army chief relocates to Benue as 270 killed in 2 months. 270 killed in 2 months. Okay, this one says that Fubara visits President Bola Tinubu in Lagos on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. All right, I think that is all we have concerning the front page stories of our national dailies this morning. So if you're looking to get any of these national dailies, well, those are the headlines that you should be looking out for. And of course, like I said yesterday I had a thought, and it got a lot of reactions. And today is not going to be any different because this week I've been thinking about a lot of things generally, and this is about what is going on in Niger State, the Mokwa flood, the Mokwa flash flood, where over hundreds of people have died, over 500 are still missing, nowhere to be found. And I feel like, there is no better time for the presidency to come in and show a little bit of sympathy, a little bit of empathy. This is not throwing blames, this is a natural disaster. But in cases like this, it also opens the doors for the government to show their true intention for the people. I mean, prior to the 2023 general elections, Mokwa is one of the places I'm sure that the campaigns we are rolling into. Now that they are going through this situation, maybe it is going to be done later, but the president right now is in Lagos for the Salah celebration. I mean, it doesn't take anything from the president to cut short his break and go in person to this state. Try and understand what is going on physically. I mean, it is just one of my thoughts. This is, like I said again, this is not throwing blames. I mean, we might as well agree that, nowadays it's just all about the 2027. It's just all about what is going to happen in the next 2 years, which is all about retaining power. So I'm just speaking from the angle of a political analyst now, a strategist now. You know, let's say, majority of the things that politicians do and gives the people the feeling that maybe they are loved, maybe, okay, is around to speak to us, is around to communicate with us, is around to talk to us about the plans. Now is the right time. But at the end of the day, We have to wait and see. This is way beyond the federal government ordering them how to do this, the federal government saying they should do that. I, there is no better time than now for the president to cut short his break, show some sympathy, show some empathy, visit Niger State. There is no better, there is no better political campaign than that. And this is not to mean that I'm trying to, I'm pushing. I'm just saying we should give the people the feeling that, this is a people inclusive government. We should stop sending statements upon statements upon statement. If you're familiar with the news, you would know that it is way worse than the pictures that we are seeing online. It is way worse than the numbers of people that have died. It is way worse than the number of people that have been washed away by the flood. BBC reported yesterday that a man was watching his wife and his newborn baby getting washed away by the flood. He could not do anything. He could not, because he could not do anything. It is a flood. It washes away anything. If you try to, you're going to get washed away too. And of course, moving away from there, we're going to try to link these two scenarios together. My second thought for today, it revolves around, poverty. And of course, it is triggered by the speech of Lamido Sanusi made at the 60th birthday celebration of the former River State Governor, Rotimi Amici, in Abuja over the weekend. It takes us back to the feeling that, we understand that we live in a country where we are blessed with oil. We live in a country where we're blessed with agriculture. We live in a country where we're blessed with a smart, youthful, hardworking population. And all of this abundance, more than 129 million Nigerians are now living in abject poverty. He said a lot of things in that video, and he broke the deadlock by saying that, he didn't understand what poverty was until it became emir. Now, we are putting it back now to what we earlier said. Doesn't mean that the reason why, we keep getting statement that economic reforms are working, the GDP is increasing, this and that, doesn't mean that it is until these top officials come down to the level of the people before they understand what real poverty is. Emir Sanusi Lamido had a lot to say. He had a lot to say that it is until he became emir. Let's not forget, he was the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, and it was among the people that was believing the figures and all of that. But he said it is until he became the emir that he understood the true meaning of what Nigerians are going through. So does it mean that the only reason why, we keep getting statements that the reforms are working is because these people are not closer to the people, to the average Nigerians feeling? Mothers cannot eat what they wish to eat because their children have to eat. Children are dropping out of school because there is no way they could go back to school. We have a country that is reeking of poverty everywhere. Families are sleeping hungry under leaking roofs. And according to the World Bank, just last year, due to the inflation galloping, past what people are actually earning, 10 million Nigerians have been dragged into poverty. But yes, the reforms are working. So of course, I'm trying to pitch these together. We'll put out the stories in detail, but I'm trying to pitch these two stories together, and we'll put it out. What do you think? Does it mean that, it is until they come to the level of average Nigerian before they actually understand? I have the video, and I'd like us to listen carefully to what, Lamido Sanusi said about him not understanding, what poverty truly is until he became the emir and he started visiting communities. He started seeing people, what they actually eat, where they actually sleep. So yes, that is what we're going to be doing this morning. But of course, I'm going to put in interesting headlines out. We're going to be giving details of that particular one. It is the Daily Review on InfoGiant 97.1 FM. We are going to be back for the second half of the program. Get your phones ready. I want to hear your opinion. I want to seek your perspective. Which of these headlines gets your attention? We are going to be right back after this commercial break. Stick around. Don't touch that dial. It is 97.1 FM, transmitting to you live from Ikpetumodo Roundabout.
Them girls say don't to eat pizza.
Hey you, are you looking for where to enjoy yourself and your loved ones? Are you looking for where to order or buy pizza? Real Pizza is the home of pizza, where you can get pizza, ice cream, barbecue, chicken and chips, sweets, and lots more. Oh yeah, now, no need to worry yourself anymore. Real Pizza have different types, different size with their price. Chicken pizza, small 5,300, medium 6,600, large 8,000 naira, extra large 11,000 naira. Sausage pizza, small 5,100, medium 6,400, large 7,900, extra large 10,000 naira. Special pizza, small 8,400, medium 9,200, large 10,500, extra large 13,500 naira. They also have bar, cinema, and lounge. Real Pizza is beside OUI at OUI filling station, Ikpetumodo Roundabout. They open 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Mondays and Saturdays, but they open 12 noon on Sundays. You can pre-order on their WhatsApp line 081-2034-3967, and they will also deliver to your doorstep. Real Pizza. Enjoy finger linking meal.
26 minutes gonna pass 8 on InfoGiant 97.1 FM. Yes, we are back for the second half of the Daily Review on your Delight Radio station. So yes, we're ready to go into the details of the interesting stories that we have this morning. And of course, we are going to, obviously get your opinions, your perspective, and which of the headlines gets your attention this morning. But of course, let's start with the one from the Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido, where he says that I only knew what poverty is when I became Emir. Yes, that's according to Sanusi Lamido. He says the Emir of Kano and former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Sanusi Lamido, has said he got to know what poverty truly is when he mounted the throne. Sanusi said this in a goodwill message in a public lecture at the 60th birthday celebration of former River State Governor Rotimi Amechi in Abuja. The former CBM governor says that many of the elite in Nigeria do not know what poverty is. He says as an economist and former CBN governor, he sees the numbers. He did not know what poverty is until he became the emir. And of course, he also charged those saddled with the responsibility of leadership to inculcate the virtues of empathy with those that have been given a responsibility to lead. Also speaking at the event, the former Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai expressed concern that Nigerians kept repeating the same mistakes of electing the worst among us into leadership position. So yes, I'd like us to take a listen to what he said, and I'd like us to pay attention. Could this be the reason why, despite all of the inflation, despite all of the people not unable to keep up with the cost of living, we still get it in headlines of newspaper that it is working. These reforms are working. It is working, and you wonder how. Where is it working? Could it be the reason? Because a former Central Bank of Nigeria governor, is coming out to say that he used to see the numbers and he used to feel like, okay, I mean, Nigeria is doing well until he became the emir and he started visiting villages. He started seeing how people are being fed. He started visiting hospitals until he realized that no, these numbers are not true reflections of what Nigerians are going through. Let's listen to what the Emir of Kano has to say about this situation.
Well, since the professor has decided to call me out, the reality about poverty in Nigeria is that many of the elite really do not even know what poverty is. A lot of the time we talk about these numbers, the example the professor gave was a very potent example. In all my life as an economist, as a banker, as a governor of the central bank, I looked at these numbers. X% of Nigerians living on less than $1 a day. X% of Nigerians in multidimensional poverty. And the numbers are bad, but you don't know how bad they are until you actually go and look into the eyes of poverty. The case of that lady was an eye-opener for me. I did not know poverty until I became an emir. When you actually go to a village, see the water they drink, see the house they live in. When you're told there's a primary school in a village and it is a 2-classroom school without a roof and without a teacher. When you see malnutrition and you see their children, how they look, then you understand what poverty is. And the reality is, even the poverty we see in the urban areas in Kano or Lagos is nothing. It is nothing. You actually have to go where the majority of our people live to know what poverty is. So the first question I think we have to ask ourselves as leaders, not just the political leaders, all of us, is do we actually love the people or do we just love ruling over them? Do we actually love Nigerians as human beings? You can say, I love Nigeria. What is Nigeria? It's the people who live there. What are our priorities? Many years ago when I was in banking, the president of the World Bank came and he had a town hall meeting. I think it was in the Sheraton or the Hilton. And he said he wanted to meet, for a change, ordinary Nigerians. And a gentleman, when it came to Kanye, a gentleman from Kogi asked a question. It was an interesting question. He said, look, the village I live in, there is a river that we have to cross when it is not rainy season because there's no bridge. The only reason I made Abuja is that it's dry season and I could walk through that river to go and get a car. But my surprise is I came to Abuja and I saw so many bridges and there's no water. It was a profound statement. We build overheads and underpasses for ourselves, we build skyscrapers, and we think we are developing. Meanwhile, people cannot come out from their village to go to hospital. Pregnant women cannot get antenatal care.
And now the big question is, do the elite care about Nigerians or they just love ruling over Nigerians? That is the question coming from the Emir of Kano. Do the elite love Nigerians or do they love ruling over Nigerians. And of course, the last part of his speech talked about a man who wanted to meet with the World Bank president because it is a seminar, and the World Bank president, sometimes ago insisted that he wanted to meet ordinary Nigerians, and the man is coming from a state where he needed to cross a bridge before he can have access to a bus that is going to take him to his destination. But because it was a dry season, he was able to scale through, and he attended the seminar in Abuja. And while he was in Abuja, he was seeing bridges, overhead bridges, but no water. And the emir is asking, is that what we call development? Doesn't development require putting a square peg in a square hole? And he's also talked about how we should never compare the poverty of the urban areas to the villages and the communities. It is not on the same level. So the question now this morning, does it mean that it is the reason why the up top officials believe that these reforms are working is because they are not coming down to the level of average Nigerians to see what they are going through on a daily basis? Is this one of the problems that we have? Because of course, the numbers are going to be out. As a former CBN governor, he's talked about how he's familiar with numbers. It's always numbers here and there. Okay, we are doing well here, we are doing well there, the numbers are good. But when you get close to the people, you ask yourself, are the numbers the true reflection of what Nigerians are going through? 0812 672 8417. 0812 672 8417. Okay, we have a story here about Benue women protesting the killings in the upper communities. It says, bothered by the ceaseless attacks by armed herdsmen in their various communities, hundreds of women on Tuesday staged a peaceful protest in the Ukpokpo, the headquarters of upper local government area of Benue State, to demand an end to the attacks and killings in the area. The placard-bearing women, who trooped out as early as 8 a.m., marched through the streets, singing somber songs expressing their grief over the loss of innocent lives to the attack. The protest came on the heels of last Sunday's bloody attacks in the Ijaya Ibele, Ocheku, and Ediku and Kwali communities by the armed marauders that reportedly claimed 28 lives and left several others injured. 28 lives just on Sunday. 0812 672 8417. 0812 672 8417. Which of the headlines gets your attention? And like I said earlier, what is going on in Niger State, what is going on in Mokwa precisely, requires the physical attention of the president, of the vice president, of the Senate president. I mean, we see how, they troop out to welcome if the president travels, 5 times in a month, we always see pictures of how they troop out to make sure they say farewell to the president, and when he's back, they are lined up left and right to welcome the president. This is a natural disaster that is causing pain to one of the most important states in the country when it comes to elections. We know that. We know that. I mean, when 2027 comes, you would see. You would see. I mean, campaigns have to go. In a place like Mokwa, I used to be in Mokwa. I had, a form of education in Mokwa. It is a very big part of Niger State. So I believe that this is way more than just putting out statement. Saying NEMA should go and do this and that. People want to see who they voted for in person. It takes nothing away from the president to cut short his Ilea, break. He's in Lagos right now. Sympathy, empathy. 0812-672-8417. Of course, you can also drop your comment on our Facebook page because, of course, we are live right now. You can drop a comment on which of the headlines is getting your attention this morning. Of course, we have another one that might interest the political landscape, and this is about the suspended River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara paying a visit to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Lagos. He met him in London a couple of weeks ago. Now, he's met him in Lagos. Details of their meeting has not been disclosed as of the time of filing the report on the national dailies. And of course, let's not forget that the president suspended Fubara from office amid political tension in the state. The meeting makes it the second time Fubara and Tinubu would be meeting behind closed doors after his suspension on March 19. And of course, Fubara, alongside his deputy Ngozi Odu and all elected members of the State House of Assembly, need I remind you, were suspended by Tinubu for 6 months. Okay, so now Fubara has gone to Lagos again to pay a closed door visit to the president, and after the London meeting, you know, um, there is stories that the compromises are going to be made. And of course, when he made his appearance in one of the churches, he said that his spirit has left the River State, secretariats. His spirit has left there, and that is feeling better. He's looking better about whatever is going on. Okay. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning,
Yeah. Good morning.
Mr. Fatu.
Okay, Mr. Fatui. Good morning.
Please, if there is a way to pass an information to all these liars,
Hmm.
let him hear this.
Hmm.
If somebody like Lamido,
Hmm.
the Sanusi so-called,
Hmm.
that will become an angel, speaking, he has never knew that poverty level of 18 or this.
Hmm.
See, we should stop deceiving ourselves and sympathy of kind of all this, what did I call it? All this crocodile like attitude. You stop.
Hmm.
And sometimes even you,
Hmm.
the way you speak sometimes, let me take you as an opposition. Because we should face reality.
Hmm.
When we see truth, let's say it.
Hmm.
We should stop all these things. How can are you living in heaven?
Hmm.
That he said he never knew that the kind of people, if he, let's just say he stay inside the tinted glass or whatever every day and night,
Hmm.
he's not watching the television,
Hmm.
he's not he's not hearing the radio.
Hmm.
So he's living the air on the space.
Hmm.
When in the morning, he just jump into his office,
Hmm.
that he doesn't know that, okay, the billions of naira inside all their accounts,
Hmm.
why can't they bring it out? Okay, in my community, let me do my own, in my own community, okay, I don't want anything poverty there.
Hmm.
So 1 billion naira to share to as many as can cover in my community.
Hmm.
Let you do in your own community.
Hmm.
So to eradicate this so-called poverty. And somebody will now become an Indian, be singing that they never knew. In fact, I don't know what is wrong with us. And we immediately can you see the so-called Nigeria there begin to clap?
Hmm.
Rubbish.
Hmm.
A man wrote a book. He said, beware of a wise man when he becomes foolish. How can you be telling me that in Nigeria you don't? As Nigeria in that area, how many? He doesn't see them. He never see them on the road one day. And somebody like Rotimi Amechi will now become an angel now. He's speaking that he never. Oh, Nigeria. Oh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fatoyi.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Well, we're just putting out the stories. There is no support for or against. All we do is put out the stories, and we're putting out exactly what is coming out of the mouth of the emir of Kano. And the question this morning is: does it mean that the reason why, you know, sometimes, despite the fact that, I mean, we had a couple of weeks ago, a special advisor to the president, came out to say that, 1,500 is a lot of money to an average Nigerian. So does it mean that it's because he's not closer to the people? He doesn't understand what is exactly going on. That's why he comes out to say a statement like that. So we're not trying to support or go against anybody. We're just putting out what the emir has said, backing it up with a video evidence. So I'm just trying to, relate and connect. Does it mean that this is the reason why, despite everything that is happening, there is this insistence that these reforms are working. These reforms are working. It is working for the country. Does it mean that what emir said is what other top officials are feeling right now? The only reason why emir is feeling this, according to him, is that because now he gets closer to the people, he visits villages and all of that. So yes, thank you very much, Mr. Fatoyi, for that contribution. 0812 672 8417. 0812 672 8417. Of course, we have this line says that federal government combats Boko Haram resurgence in northeast. According to the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, has revealed that the resurgence of Boko Haram in the northeast, particularly in Borno State, is part of the insurgent renewed effort to destabilize the Sahel state of Nigeria, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger Republic. He, however, said the federal government is dealing with the challenge, adding that the Nigerian armed forces has gained momentum in recent weeks, eliminating a good number of insurgents. It says that the minister, during this 2-day working visit to the military institutions, including the Nigerian Defense Academy and the Air Force Institute of Technology in Kaduna, where he inspected ongoing construction project and interacted with senior officers. Okay. 0812-672-8417. Like I said, you can also go and drop your comment on our Facebook Live. Which of the headlines gets your attention this morning? Okay, we have an update from what is going on in Niger State, and of course, this one says that the National Emergency Management Agency says it has deployed its officials in 15 high-risk states to further enlighten residents on the impending flood and the need to relocate from flood-prone areas, saying victims of the tragedy in Mokwa, Niger State, lived in gully areas and were caught unawares by the recent flooding disaster in the state, despite official warnings. The head of the press unit of NEMA, Manzo Ezekiel, said the states include Kogi, Imo, Enugu, Adamawa, Taraba, Borno, Zamfara State, Katsina, and the FCT. He lamented that many victims of the May 23 flooding built their residencies in gully areas prone to floods. The flood in Mokwa, a commercial hub in Niger State, claimed over 200 lives, with hundreds of other declared missing. Well, I was talking about the functionality of the bodies responsible. That's why I said everyone is involved. If there is a plan, from the housing unit of the state, and a place is marked as a gully area that is susceptible to flooding, why should you go ahead and buy land in that area? I'm going to tell you why. It is because the land there is going to be cheap. By the end of the day, we don't understand that there are always consequences for our actions as Nigerians. This is not to blame the people that are being affected by this flood, but when a problem happens, we need to take a look at it from different angles. I mean, apparently, when you're supposed to buy a plot of land in a space where it feels like it is very, very okay and it is not susceptible to flooding. And the cost is 1.5 million. And then you get another offer on the other hand where it is susceptible for flooding. Of course, they tell you that all you need to do is just do German flood, just flood using the German way. The house will stand, the foundation will be strong, and they're asking you to bring 600,000, and then you just calculate it. I'm acting like a Nigerian now. 1.5 million to 600,000. That's like a difference of 900,000. You feel like, okay, I can use the 900,000 to go about the German floor and all of that, and I'll be fine. There's only for me to go and buy the 1.5 million per plot land. And then years after years after years, it happens. That's the only time we now get to, and I feel like we need to, the agencies need to do their job too. When someone is coming with a plan, and we go around, we see some of these houses that have been marked with the red thing and saying that this house is not supposed to be here, this structure is not supposed to be here. But you see, the same house will be built, will be painted. As a matter of fact, the red ribbon will be removed and painted with, and then when the disaster comes on the long run, we blame the government. We forget to blame ourselves. Some people have, they are bold enough to blame themselves, but mostly it's always about the government. They're supposed to do this drainage, they're supposed to do that. Meanwhile, it is something that's avoidable. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just exactly that, like what you are saying now, sir. Yesterday, we discussed about the incident of Kano
State
footballer that died on the road.
Yes.
Just imagine. When you are maybe you wanted to from Ibadan, if something happened from Port Harcourt to Lagos one day, as we are about to move, somebody noticed something wrong with the vehicle. So it's now the driver was telling the conductor that this so by this thing, this thing will happen, they should prepare another bus to come and Los Serious bus. So immediately somebody beside them overheard what they are saying. The man insists that he's not going with the vehicle again. So they insist that okay, he must go. If not, so the man demanded his money that they should refund him. So likewise, most of the time, between now from here to Ibadan, when you say maybe you see something that is not okay with the vehicle and you say you wanted to come down, you will see even within ourselves, begin to curse you, let us use faith. It's God that will protect you. The same thing happened to when you wanted to buy land. And somebody said, come and buy land. Where government have already said it's not going area. Here, people starting another thing. So what we are doing to ourselves is more than what government is doing. That's just the wala. Until we begin to see ourselves as a real human being.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fatoyi. Because, in situations like these, it is very, very, easy to point fingers. But, when there is an official statement as to the reason why this is happening, this is because it happened in the Gully area, this area, that area. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Ola.
Good morning.
Temitope Babatunde calling from Lisa.
Oh, good morning, Temitope.
I wanted to talk about the Emir of Kano.
Okay.
So imagine, let me start with this. And the Sanusi is in Nigeria. We are all living in Nigeria. It's not as if it's living in another country. So I don't expect Sanusi to just come out and say he didn't know that poverty is in Nigeria. No, that is not possible. That is just paranganda. Do you understand? Okay, fine. He came out and tell us that he didn't know. Okay, what is the solution that he have already started from? Fine. In his community, Can you just said, okay, let me start with my community, let me start with my people.
Hmm.
Okay, what can I do for my people so that this poverty will just reduce? But if you just come out, for us to just said, oh, he didn't know. No, I don't believe so. He live in community. It's not as if he didn't go out. He go out. It's not as if he's coming from another country to Nigeria and he's going back. No. For him to come out and tell us that he didn't know that poverty is in Nigeria, that is a lie. So where don't you
Thank you very much, Madam Timmy Tucker. Thank you very much for that contribution. Sometimes I feel like there was a protest at some point, and one of the top public officials came out to say that Nigerians are overreacting. It's not as bad as that. They're just overreacting now. It's not as bad as that. So I feel like maybe they know, and they're just being selective with how they react to these things. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good
Olayinka.
morning. Good morning, Comrade Ibe.
I salute you,
Yeah,
sir.
good morning, sir.
You see, one thing I hate personally in my life is blaming the past. If you know you are coming to work, you are coming to serve the people, don't look at what somebody has done wrong during his own time. Do your own so that people will believe you that yes, you have come to make a change. I hate that people talking about Salusi community. Have you been to his community to know whether he helped them or not? What we are saying is, if you know you are the authority, there's a difference between government and personal philanthropists or whatever. If you know you are the government, why not act as government? Look, Yinka, let me tell you, you are the best so far. Within us here, you are the best. You analyze things the way they are. You say, in fact, this government should even thank you because you are showing them the leeway. You are analyzing the thing the way it's supposed. They should pay you because if they should listen to you and follow your analysis, they will do better. Honestly, I don't see you somebody saying you are taking side the opposition. You are this is an insult to me. I don't cherish that. I've not seen you. I don't know you from Adams, but from what you are saying, you are telling Nigerians the correct things to do. That's the way I look at it. Look at Benue State. Look at the killings. The local government chairman visited them. Thank God for social media. I saw the man weeping. The man visited the scene, seeing 2-year-old child being killed in Benue State. This Benue last killing. There have been many killings. This is just last killing. Was it Sunday or what? And he said that army location, army headquarters or whatever, was very close, not up to 30 kilometers to where these killings happened. And nothing happened. When he was saying that, then the army officer was telling him that they didn't have the mandate for government to act to kill bandits. Can you imagine that? He said it, koro. What are we talking about? Can the local government chairman now carry gun and start shooting people that this and that? I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Authority is authority. When you talk about non-state actor and non-state actor, when you behave now, they say you are non-state actor. What type of thing? Why are you so? In fact, you are the one supporting whether government is doing well. We are the one even this sacrifice. I hate it. Look, when you drive from this Mokwa they are talking about, when you drive from Mokwa to Niya to Safo to Zuru, Dampo to Donko, because and to Zamfara, you spend 6 hours in one state, that Niger, 6 hours drive. I'm telling you. So if we are talking about natural disaster, it's even enough for a president of the country. It's not a president of the West or East or what. It's the president of Nigeria, whether he win election there or not. It's enough for him to cancel whatever journey he's making to go and sympathize with the people. In fact, it's enough for him to declare national mourning. Look at the type of killings. Look at how flood swept buildings, swept people, including small children. And somebody is talking about this, and this is natural disaster. It's beyond the state government. It's beyond Niger state government. I'm not from there, but let us face reality and say the truth. If you know you can't handle the matter, resign. Simple.
Thank you very much.
But in Nigeria, look at Akpabio, look at his neck, look at he will there be talking nonsense that people will believe. And so I pity the youth. I'm not among them now. Some of us are the youth. The youth. I don't know what they think in this country. Look at one state governor, encouraging 40,000 youths that they should get visa for them to go and work in
Thank you
Europe.
very much. Thank you very much, Comedy Bay. Thank you very much. Well, it's been an amazing time this morning, and of course, every opinions, every perspective is welcomed. But of course, our time is fast spent. This is InfoGiant 97.1 of the FM, the Dailies Review. I'm going to be back tomorrow. My name is Olayinka Popoola. Keep listening to InfoGiant 97.1 FM. A very good morning to you.